In this video, I'm going to show you how to use the RPM Training CMM. This software tool is used to generate data and send it to the Reaction Plan Manager ++ software without actually physically measuring a part. With the click of a button, you could simulate running a part program on a CMM. Let's start the application and talk about some of the features. Under the simulation box, you've got a list of simulations you can choose from. If I click on one of these choices and click on the inspect button, it's as if I were to run this particular part program on CMM. What's nice about using this tool, it generates data for a 6-hole bolt pattern, and you can add variability in the data by shifting the X, shifting the Y, rotating it, and shifting the diameter. So you can take the pattern and in a random kind of a way, you can shift it so it starts to drift out of spec. You'll notice you've got a reset simulation button here, a shift data checkbox, and an auto repeat checkbox, auto repeat on checkbox. The reset simulation button will set the data back to the nominal. The shift data checkbox will turn on the shifting settings, the simulation settings that will cause variability in the data. And the auto repeat on will put it in a mode where it will simulate just repetitively measuring a part. To influence variability in the data, you just simply check on the checkbox, which controls how you want the variability to occur. Now these settings are sticky, and what do I mean by that? If I change to a different simulation, you'll notice that the checks change along with the part program that you're going to run. If you turn on the auto repeat by checking this checkbox here, the auto repeat parameters down below will influence the length of time between runs in the part program, and you can control after so many parts that were measured, it'll automatically reset. Now right now we've got this set to 6, so every 6th part it'll reset the data. This is set to 3000, which is 3000 milliseconds, so if I wanted it to be 1 second, I would change that to 1. So every 1000 milliseconds is a second. The filter settings will allow you to change things like the machine and the stream. These are things that are filterable, so when the data flows over to Reaction Plan Manager, you can organize and group the data accordingly. The Training CMM is designed to send data to Reaction Plan Manager ++ directly, or you could also send the data to QC Calc real time. If you click on the simulation settings menu here, you notice you've got send data to QC Calc checkbox. If I check that, the simulations will change to reflect simulations that you typically use for QC Calc. And the data, if you click on the inspect button, the data will flow to the QC Calc software package. I'm going to uncheck that and just send the data to directly to Reaction Plan Manager. If you visit our website, you can log on and download example solutions that you can use that are designed to be used with the training simulator. So if you want, you can go ahead and download that information or download those reaction plan solutions from the website. I want to send the data directly to Reaction Plan Manager. So I need to make sure that the Reaction Plan Manager is properly configured, and I also need to make sure my RPM Training CMM is sending the data to the right place. If I click on the File menu selection and Output Setup, this opens up a window which will let me set where I want to send the data. For Reaction Plan Manager, if I'm sending the data directly to Reaction Plan Manager, I need to set the default document directory to wherever you want to send the data. For QC Calc, I need to tell it where I want to send the data to this file. In this particular case, I'm sending the data to a training.cmm file. So we're setting it up to send it directly to RPM. So this is the directory we're going to use. If I want to check the Reaction Plan Manager configuration, I'll click on the About button, then click on Settings. And here is where I need to make sure the trigger directory matches the default document directory. I also have to make sure the default data source is set to Becker Quality Solutions Training CMM. For those of you that are going to download the solutions from the website, you want to copy the solutions into the Reaction Plan repository. Once you have these settings complete, you simply save the settings in Reaction Plan Manager. You apply the changes to your trainer, say OK, and now we're ready to measure parts and send the data directly to Reaction Plan Manager. Let's measure a part. I know that the RPM++ Basics part program, I know that there's a reaction plan solution that'll run with this. So I'm going to inspect this part, and you'll notice Reaction Plan Manager found the data, it's processed it, and now it's displaying us results. If I want to change to a different simulation, simply click on the drop-down box, click on the part program I want to run, check the appropriate boxes, and then click on the Inspect button, and you'll see that the other solution loaded and processed the data accordingly. So it's working properly. I'm going to change my configuration to send the data to QC Calc real time. The first thing I need to do is change my simulation settings. I'll click on that menu and I'll choose the Send Data to QC Calc option. You'll notice the simulations changed inside under the simulation drop-down box. They're different for QC Calc real time versus just sending the data directly to Reaction Plan Manager. I'll then click on my File menu and choose the Output Setup. The Training CMM will send the data to this file spec if you've got the Send the Data to QC Calc checkbox checked. You have to make sure that this file matches the same file name inside QC Calc real time. So our next step is to go to QC Calc real time and configure it so it'll accept the data from the Training CMM. Now, more than likely, when you've installed QC Calc real time, it installed a driver for your measurement system. We're going to change that so it'll now accept data from the Training CMM. So let's open QC Calc real time and change the configuration accordingly. The first thing you need to do is change the driver. So you click on the Help menu and you have a Install Wizard option you could choose. You'll click on the Install Wizard and it'll probably have the name of the inspection system listed here. The driver will be installed accordingly for that inspection system. You want to change this to the QC Calc standard format, delimited. You can click on the ProLink standard format radio box and you'll see that on the list. So you just click on the QC Calc standard format, delimited, and you click on the finish button. The next thing you need to do is click on the Tools menu option and then the Options menu. When you do that, that will bring up this window. You'll then click on the data source information, and this is the path and the name of the file that it'll look for to try to read in the data. Now it's looking for a file under C:\\spc data \asterisk.sta. So it's looking for any file that has a .sta file format. So you're probably, to get this to work, you're probably going to want to change the Training CMM to .sta. Click on Apply, then OK, and then just simply say OK here, because you know this spec matches the Training CMM spec. I'll click on OK, and now we should be ready to go with regards to sending data to QC Calc real time. So I'll move things around here, and we'll measure some parts and see if it works. I'm going to click on the Inspect button, and you see the data appear in QC Calc real time. Now QC Calc real time was configured to send the data to Reaction Plan Manager automatically. To learn how to set up the QC Calc real time so it automatically sends the data to Reaction Plan Manager, there's a video which explains how to do that. You'll go through and set it up once, and once you have that done, it's done, and you don't have to worry about it anymore. Now you'll notice we got an error on Reaction Plan Manager side. Well, we didn't configure Reaction Plan Manager to accept data from QC Calc. We forgot to do that. So let's go ahead and say OK to this and change the settings accordingly. So I'm going to click on the About button, click on the Settings button. That'll bring up our settings window. I need to change the default data source to QC Calc ProLink after version 3.4.82 Becker Quality Solutions Reaction Plan Manager++. This is a setting you want to use to pull the data from, to read the data from QC Calc real time. Now this trigger directory, that's configured when you set up the automatic data export inside QC Calc. That'll be covered in the other video. So now we should be done. I'll save this, say done. Now let's measure a part and see if it works. And it did. So now we've got this configured so that we'll send the data to QC Calc real time, and now you have all the bits and pieces working to utilize the Training CMM. Using the Training CMM is a great tool when you're learning how to use Reaction Plan Manager++ software, because you don't have to worry about getting the data to the software. You can just click on a button, and it's as if you ran a part program on your measuring equipment. You can then focus your attention on how to develop reaction plans and some of the concepts and some of the tools inside the software. To learn more about how to use Reaction Plan Manager++ software, visit our website and go to the support page to view a library of help videos.